On November 3rd, my next guest makes his return to the CFFC cage at CFFC 127 in Tunica, Mississippi. He is the former CFFC heavyweight and the current unified MMA heavyweight champion. He is no other than Jamelle the Beast Jones. How's it going, Jamelle?
Zach, how are you, my friend?
Doing great. You know, I'm the one who gets to lay back. You're coming back at a whole different division. We've seen you at heavyweight. We've seen you at light heavyweight a couple times. We have not seen you at light heavyweight, though, since 2017. We were about to see you just last month. What happened there? You were scheduled for Cage Wars. I think the
Well,
lightweight title.
yeah. So I'm gonna dive right into Cage Wars. I had an injury. Um, they don't pay that well. It's a regional promotion. I was risking it all. I was flying myself out there. I had the plane ticket bought. We had the bout scheduled. And if I couldn't go in there and completely dominate, I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to, it was too much of a loss. It was too much of a sacrifice. I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight, but I wasn't gonna fight that dude with the injury that I had. So I took like 2 weeks off and healed and I was blessed to find the opportunity that I have now.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed it popped up because I haven't seen you since the PFL days. Or I guess no, I guess you did PFL, then you did Unified.
Yes, sir.
That last December, I believe. I think I actually went
Uh,
from one event upstairs to my hotel room and watched you win the title.
yeah,
Um,
100%. Yeah,
and
last year.
yeah, and then when you walked into the cage, I was like, oh shit! Like I haven't seen you. Like I said, the PFL, but before that, I think the last fight you had was supposed to be in Philly against the Boogeyman, Raheem
Yeah,
Cleveland,
yeah, yeah.
and then he got sick like during the
Yeah.
card. Like I think it was a co-main event. It was like, no, this is now the main, and
Yes, sir.
we kind of expected you to come back, and then you went into the PFL.
Yep,
Uh,
yep, yep. That's how it went. I signed to the PFL after I think 2001. I had the same ambitions I had now going to the UFC. And with that being said, the UFC offered me Tai Tuivasa, and I would have fought him, but my hand was hurt at that time, and I wanted to go in the UFC and make a statement. So I knew Tai Tuivasa at that time, with me not being able to wrestle and my hand being messed up, he would have took it to me, and I held back a little bit longer. And then the PFL gave me a great money opportunity, a six-figure contract over 2 years. Um, so I took the money and went with the PFL. Did 2 seasons with them. One season ended up in the semifinals. Um, it was a great jump financially in my career, but I kind of felt pimped.
I've heard that a lot. You hear it's like a honeymoon phase. Like it's great when you first get there, and then it gets a little shaky. So
Yeah,
it lines up a lot what I've heard from several other people who've gone through that track. But now like I said, you're coming back at light heavyweight. We've seen you at heavyweight for at least the past like 4 or 5 years. What made you ultimately decide to drop back down to light heavyweight?
well, just taking things serious, buckling down with nutrition, buckling down even with things like drinking and things like that. Anything that can put weight on me. Trying to be a complete professional. When things don't go your way, you got to go back to the drawing board. I started fighting guys in the PFL where I was outsized, outmatched, 6'8" guys. The guys in the semifinals now, Fernan, and I just was outmatched physically. So I decided to sacrifice, get down the weight to where I was the bigger man, where I was the stronger man, and where I can do damage to individuals.
That's awesome. And then with this weight, your opponent is Jesse Moore. He's making his return as well. He's been out for the past year.
Mm-hmm.
You do kind of do share at least one resume set up. You both Order Contender Series.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Kind of had the same experience there.
yeah. Right. We both lost.
I don't want to say it, but
Yeah, I got you.
everyone has topology. But he's making this, like I said, a year away. How does that impact your game plan? Like, are you expecting him to be the same Jesse Murray that he's been the last 3 fights, 4 fights? How's the game plan
I
going?
don't. I don't care who he is. I don't care who he trains with. I'm bringing the beast. I'm bringing the best to me, man. I just got done watching the UFC. I watched my guy Terrence McKinney get down, man. And I'm willing to match whatever I bring to the table to anybody in the world. I know what Dana's looking for, and I'm here to look appealing.
Perfect. And talk about training too. I think when I reached out, I thought you were still out in like the Philly area or AC area. I see you
Yeah,
sporting
yeah,
the
yeah,
Eagles
yeah.
hat. You still
Yeah,
have the
yeah,
love
yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah.
team.
I
Um,
just switched. I just switched the hat. I went from the Eagles and I put the North Idaho hat on just to let them know. I live out in North Idaho, man, where I went to college at, up in the mountains with my wife, and I got my son, my younger son out here, and I do have a son, a 14-year-old that is back in New Jersey, but my residence is in North Idaho. This is where I train, and this is where I went to college at, and this is where I'll be.
awesome. And who are you training with out there? Anyone that people
Yeah.
know, or just like one of your
Yeah,
small
so
gyms?
I represent a gym out here called Trevor Prangley's, aka. I'm kind of in and out. I'm doing like my own thing, man. I'm 35 years old, so I'm leading my own pack of individuals. I got kind of my own camp. We don't really got a name for it, but yeah, man. I at this point in my career, everything in my small town, everything that I do is based purely around me. So I have like 5, 6 guys where we reunite, and they're helping me with my camp. Ex UFC vets, a couple amateurs coming up, and a couple undefeated prospects, all helping me from my camp every day of the week.
That's awesome to hear because because I was so used to being East Coast. When we set this up, I was all game plan like awesome. I can get this in. We can watch the UFC, and then I was like, oh, we still worked out. We watched the UFC, and then we hopped on
Yep,
this.
yep,
But currently, you did mention you're 35.
yes,
You've
sir.
been in the game for a while. What are your current goals at this level of your career, especially at a new division as well?
So my current goals are always the UFC, always the top, always the to put on the show, man. When I first came into this sport, I was just competing as an athlete. I transferred from wrestling to fighting because I wasn't done being an athlete. Through the ups and downs and the wins and the glory and the losses, now I became like a competitor. It's like something deep down inside me that I can't even turn off. 10 years in, I'm a fighter. I done been through hell and back, and you got the best version of me right now at 35. I heard Dana say something on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender this year. Oh, you know how I feel about 32-year-olds. You know how I feel about 30. And I'm here to tell you, like, this 35-year-old is the best I ever been. I don't know how long it'll be for. You might have a better expertise on that, Dana. It might be 3 years, it might be 5 years. I might be done at 41, but at 35, I'm the best. 35-year-old Jamelle would knock out 22-year-old, would choke out 24-year-old, and would punk 28-year-old. I done been through the fire and the hell and back, and that's what I'm showing this time around. That there's levels to this game, and I'm at the top of it. And that's the bottom line. That's what I'm gonna show.
That's great to hear. Aim a little short term. You are coming back to CFFC
Yes,
and the
sir.
light heavyweight division. There has not been a title in that division since 2020. I think
Yes.
it's actually even more accurate to say probably end of 2019. I forget when Matt Rhodes retired.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Matt. Yeah. He won it.
and then there's not been like he's never defended it. He retired, and it's just been there. Is that a goal? I mean, obviously, I think titles, especially in a promotion like CFFC, does get you there. And I was
I
hoping you were going
got
to do it.
I got a CFFC belt. I keep one. It's nice. It's shiny. I got a strap. I got another one out in the garage. CFFC to me is like family. They're the only ones that never did me wrong. Even when I'm on the B side, Rob would tell me, Jamelle, you just win. Yeah, we're gonna put you against somebody good. Win. Prove me wrong. Win. You know? And that's what I did. The other promotions a lot mixed match me. They didn't pay well. They tried to get over on me. So this time at CFFC, I want to complete the job. I want to go to the UFC. They're the only ones I trust to get me there and give me a fair shot. So my time around isn't the belt. I wanted to get the belt last time, and I did that. I wanted to defend it, and I did that. I came to every show. I ended up getting a 6-figure contract from PFL. This next time around, I don't want to get pimped. I don't want to get squeezed. I want to get to the UFC and get to my goals. Get to the UFC. I want to get through my first contract at the UFC undefeated and then see where I'm at from there.
I mean, that's a statement there. That's like if we had microphones, that's the drop point right there. I mean, kind of answer what I thought you were going to say. I know you keep that belt behind you, usually near you during interviews. I've seen it pulled out in others. Um,
100%.
it's kind of hoping to see it pop out. But yeah, I mean, you think the light heavyweight division changing of the guard right now as well in UFC?
It's dead. And
Like,
and I'm good. I'm coming to bring fire. I'm coming to bring funk. I'm coming to bring everything that division needs. And I'm saying that humbly. I'm saying it respectfully too, because there are great people there. There are great athletes. I do like Jamal Hill. The dudes from Brazil. They have a stack of lineup and overseas, and I know what they're doing. But all I'm saying, I'm gonna bring that spunk. I'm gonna bring Jamelle Jones in. When I hit somebody, they're gonna feel my pain. I'm gonna smile all the way to the bank, and I just want mine, man. Yes, sir.
awesome. So last time, Cage Wars, you bought your own ticket. Unified, you drove to Canada. Are you flying down to Tunica, or I mean, if we phrase it, are
Thank
you
you.
flying to
Thank you for
Memphis?
So let me tell you what I've been doing. So the PFL basically kind of shelved me and stuff, and I had to wait for the season to be over. And they pay great, so you gotta play underneath the circumstances. The PFL really didn't want to sign me. They matched me up against the big guys. I had these guys contracted in one of the best contracts. All I had to do was win that first fight against Klitz and Abreu, and they dangled 50 grand over my head. I beat this guy's head in, and I took that 50 grand home. I beat his head in so fast, I end up in the $1 million tournament where I was never supposed to be. I was just supposed to be another number, but I seen that money and I grabbed it. With that being said, the next year they matched me up against a dude that I was unmatched. Fernand, he's freaking Goliath. I promise. This dude is huge. I thought I was mistreated there. I said, okay, PFL, let me come back the next year that I got a taste of this at 205. I promise I'll give you the best of me. We part ways. They don't want to sign me. I say, okay, that's fine. You don't want to sign me? I'll fight anywhere. No one would talk to me. I kind of like went through some management and team stuff. No one would sign me. Canada goes, oh my gosh, can you get into Canada? I said, yeah. They said, are you vaccinated? I said, I will be. I went and I got vaccinated. I found out the only way you can get into Canada is if you drive across the border and you meet the requirements. You can't go. I don't have a passport. So I drove up to Canada, 12 hours. I fought a dude, their best guy. This guy was a Goliath. Freaking, they food poisoned me. I went there and I tuned him up like a guitar effortlessly. I went there with my best friend and one of my mentors from back home, Todd Berger and Jez Belengo, the two guys that have had my back since high school and college. We went out there and I beat this dude up. I'm gonna do the same thing in Tennessee. I was gonna fly myself to whatever. So I'm doing whatever I have to do to make it. I listen to what people say, and I'm making no excuses, man. If you're in my way, I'm gonna steamroll you over.
Yeah.
100%.
I actually had the privilege of being down in Tunica in June. You fought in 2300.
Yes.
Picture that, just smaller. Like it's very like you're on top of each other. You were in the Philly AC area before. Have you ever been to like the TLA, one of the, like the concerts in Philly? It feels like that kind of setup. Um,
Wow.
so it's if you get those fists going and even the wrestling going, it's gonna look even better than it would be in like a 2300 as well. When I was there, I got to see now they just were in Contender Series, Danny Barlow and Raheem Forrest. Raheem Forrest, like you heard those punches in the entire room. That's how small it is. It's a little
Wow.
blues auditorium, basically. Like you can see a concert there. Now,
Right.
instead, they put fights on there, and it's a fantastic venue. Pain in the ass to get to. And when you get there's nothing around. So like bring what you can with you or on the way to there. Um, that's the only thing I can say there. Outside of that,
Thank you.
fantastic because the burger spot there sucks. The steakhouse is nice. Bring your own food with you, if you can. Outside of that, watch out for horse. You're gonna get bit. You're gonna leave with welts on your legs. Everything else is great though. But outside of that, new location. You're back. Let's just say you're back home. I mean, when you're in the
Yes, sir.
CFFC.
CFFC.
As long as you
Yeah,
don't
I'm
kind of screw
happy.
them over, your family. And that's why I was glad when I saw your name pop up. I was like, oh, it's a coming home party. Then I start looking in and I saw the weight class that change, and it got me excited. I hope other people that are watching this are
205,
excited.
baby. Light heavyweight. I'm coming. I'm coming.
And I mean, like I said before, we hit one on record. Like you've always been a smaller heavyweight, especially when you rehydrate. You can't rehydrate enough to be what these guys are at.
100%. Yeah, yeah. So at heavyweight, the biggest I got, I weighed in one time at 253. I started taking things like creatine and just I was able to focus on just fighting. I could eat a burger after practice. I didn't have to work. But then I got a little bit slower, and then I wasn't moving how I wanted. But what I really got to do at heavyweight is become a mixed martial artist. I got to dial in purely on my technique, and I didn't have to worry about my weight. So a lot of the angling and a lot of my stand up, I got to focus on. I don't consider myself a wrestler anymore. I'm gonna go upside somebody's head every time.
And people love to see that, especially you still kind of. I'm assuming you're still at the frame of a heavyweight, just at a healthier weight class for you, most importantly. But outside of that, I'll pass the mic to you. Feel free to shout out any sponsors, supporters, social media, how people can follow you, whatever the hell you want to say. The mic is all yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I first off, I want to say thank you, Zach. I really don't got much to say, man. I'm gonna do my talk in November 3rd. I want people to tune in, man. That division is dead, and I'm coming. And Dana, yeah, I am in my 30s, but I'm as good as I ever been, man. Like, I'll tell you this, you want to give a kid who's 35, who's been through the storms and that has never quit, a chance over a young chump. You know what I mean? So I'm good right now, and that's what I'm here to prove. I'm an honest man, and I'm here to do honest work. I'm gonna fuck a motherfucker up.
That's what, can't really promote the fight better than that right there. I want to thank you as well for your time. I know time zones suck. A little easier on your side than out here, but we worked it out. We got this set up. You said it, I said it. CFFC 127 live UFC Fight Pass, November 3rd. If you're near Tunica, I don't know why you would be. If you're in Memphis, drive on down. Otherwise, there's no one's in Tunica. But UFC Fight Pass, everyone has it. It's $10. If you can't afford that, like find a little 7-day trial. Main card, best of skill to you. I can't wait to see how the transition to light heavyweight goes. Thanks again for your time.